Science says your dreams are nothing more than neurons firing in the dark, random sparks, electrical noise. But what if they're wrong? What if dreams are not the trash of the brain, but the doorway it desperately tries to keep hidden?
Think about it. Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid, so real, that for a moment you weren't sure which world you belonged to? Science will call that an illusion. Darius will tell you it's the first crack in the wall of reality.
And here's the twist. The brain explains what's convenient, but what it doesn't explain, what it can't explain, that's where Darius takes us tonight. Because some dreams don't just vanish in the morning. They chase you, whisper to you, sometimes even come true.
So stay with us, because at the end of this journey, you'll see why the dream you thought was meaningless might be the most important message you'll ever receive.
According to neuroscience, dreams are the brain's housekeeping service. Every night, your mind sweeps the floor, organizes memories, and throws away what it doesn't need. That bizarre dream where you were chased by a giant duck through a shopping mall? Science says it's just your neurons taking out the trash.
They'll tell you dreams happen mostly during REM sleep, when the brain is buzzing with electrical activity. The visual cortex lights up, the emotional centers like the amygdala go wild, while the logic centers take a nap. That's why dreams feel intense, but often make zero sense.
Freud thought dreams revealed hidden desires. Jung saw them as symbols from the collective unconscious. Modern researchers, they reduce them to a survival mechanism, practice runs for dangerous situations, or the brain's way of testing what if.
But here's the problem. If dreams are just random noise, why do so many people wake up with answers to problems they couldn't solve awake? Why do musicians, inventors, even scientists admit their breakthroughs came in a dream?
Science gives neat explanations, but too many dreams slip through its fingers. Too many are inconvenient. And those are the ones Darius says point to something bigger, something the textbooks don't want to write about.
And that's where we're heading next. Into the cracks where the brain's theory starts to break down. Stay with us, because the dreams science ignores may be the ones that matter most.
This is where science begins to sweat. Because for every theory about neurons firing randomly, there are stories that don't fit. Stories of dreams that reach beyond time, space, even personal identity.
Take precognitive dreams. People dream of events that haven't happened yet. Plane crashes, natural disasters, even small personal moments. And when those events unfold days later, the dream feels less like fantasy and more like a warning label delivered overnight.
Or consider shared dreams. Two people, miles apart, waking up with the same imagery, the same symbols, the same story. Coincidence? The odds suggest otherwise. Unless, of course, there's some hidden network, an invisible Wi-Fi of consciousness that our brains tap into while we sleep.
And then there are the dreams that feel like borrowed lives. People waking up with memories, languages, or skills they've never learned. Science calls them anomalies. But what if they're glimpses of other realities bleeding into ours?
So here's the question. If dreams are nothing but electrical noise, why do some of them reveal truths we couldn't possibly know? Why do they leave us with knowledge that rewrites our waking lives?
And this is where Darius says, pay attention. Because when science looks away, it's usually standing right in front of the doorway it doesn't want you to open.
This is where Darius refuses to play along with the neat boxes of science. For him, dreams are not garbage data. They are portals, entry points into dimensions that the waking mind is too distracted to see.
He tells the story of a dream where he found himself walking through endless corridors, lined with doors. Behind one door, he said, was a library, not of books, but of living memories. He touched a single glowing volume and felt centuries of knowledge rush into him. The next morning, he wrote down details of events he had no way of knowing until later when they unfolded in real life.
In another dream, he met what he described as the question wearing a face, an entity that didn't speak but radiated meaning. When he woke, he had the answer to a problem he'd been wrestling with for months. Coincidence? Or contact?
And here's the strange part. When scientists dismiss these accounts as anomalies, Darius laughs. He says anomalies are just the universe trying to get your attention.
So what if your dreams aren't private hallucinations at all? What if they're shared spaces, corridors, archives, meeting rooms, where consciousness connects beyond the brain? Have you ever wondered if your dreams are less about you and more about the universe showing you something it wants you to see?
Because if Darius is right, then the next dream you have might not just be a dream, it might be an invitation.
Science says dreams are the theater of the brain. Darius says they're the backstage door to reality itself, a hidden interface where your personal mind meets a much larger field of consciousness.
Think about lucid dreams. You realize you're dreaming, and suddenly you're in control. You can fly, reshape the world, even ask questions to whatever intelligence is listening. Neuroscientists say it's just self-awareness during REM. But what if it's proof that consciousness can bend the rules of reality?
Darius once dreamed of a city he swore he'd never seen. Stone bridges, a strange fountain, even graffiti on the walls. Months later, traveling abroad, he turned a corner and there it was, the same city, the same fountain, the same graffiti.
Hidden reality or just chance? Maybe. But how many coincidences does it take before coincidence stops being an explanation?
And here's where it gets more unsettling. Some dreams don't just show places, they show futures. People wake up with images of conversations, accidents, encounters that haven't happened yet. And when those moments arrive, the dream feels less like fantasy and more like déjà vu in reverse.
So ask yourself, are dreams merely reflections of your brain or previews from a reality your waking mind isn't supposed to see?
If dreams are more than neural static, then science has a problem, because it means your nights are not just rest, they're reconnaissance, training sessions, warnings, maybe even transmissions.
Imagine this. Every night, billions of people slipping into a hidden reality. Some meet ancestors, others glimpse futures, some stumble into entirely different worlds. And yet science insists it's all just housekeeping? That's like calling the internet just wires. Technically true, but it misses the point.
Darius believes dreams can act as spiritual classrooms, a place where the unconscious collective teaches us lessons we aren't ready to face awake. Fears become teachers, symbols become signposts. Sometimes the dream itself feels like a rehearsal for something coming in real life.
And what about the encounters? People across cultures report meeting guides, entities, even beings they describe as non-human. Science calls that hallucination. But why do people who never met each other describe the same glowing figures, the same voices, the same instructions?
Here's the twist. If dreams are messages, then maybe the question isn't whether they're real, but why some messages are too clear, too inconvenient for science to acknowledge.
So ask yourself what's easier to believe, that your brain is a random script writer, or that your dreams are windows into a hidden reality your waking mind refuses to see.
Science calls them dreams. Darius calls them evidence. Maybe the truth is that they are both signals from the brain and at the same time, doorways into a hidden reality.
So tonight, when your eyes close, remember, you might not just be resting, you might be traveling, learning, receiving. The question is, will you notice?
Share this video with someone who always shrugs off their dreams. And in the comments, write just one word that describes the most unforgettable dream you've ever had. Words like fire, ocean, flight, loss, rebirth. Your word might unlock recognition in someone else.
And if this journey made you think deeper, give it a like. It helps others step into this conversation. Subscribe to The Quantum Soul, because the next exploration will take us even further beyond the mind.
Right now, 2 more paths are opening on your screen. One leads deeper into the science of the mind.
the other into the mysteries of hidden reality. Choose the one that calls to you most and continue the journey.